If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Position over the first 3 rounds has been incredibly ripe with bust, maybe worse than even first-round quarterbacks when you really consider contributions. If you're not talking about special teams or kick returning or that kind of stuff, what is it about that wide receiver position that makes it so ripe for a bust, beyond the fact that you have to have a quarterback to make a wide receiver look good?
You know what, we studied it. I don't have a definitive answer other than that. I think sometimes the complexity of the NFL defense is too much for these guys to handle. Coming in initially, a lot of guys struggle, I think, with the learning and being in the right place at the right time and all that stuff. I think the other thing, too, is just that a lot of teams will draft off the combine. They draft the big, fast guys that don't run routes real well, maybe don't catch the ball real well. Sometimes, like the Anquan Boldens is a guy that, he's a good football player. He knows how to play the position. That guy ran a 4.74 at Indy coming out. And in general, a receiver, 4.74 receiver, the first thing everybody's going to say is he can't run fast enough. But there's other things, I think, at that position other than speed, and yet you can be sure that Al Davis is sitting there in Oakland. He's going to draft the fastest receiver he can draft this year, and that guy may not be the best football playing wide receiver in the NFL.
Let's talk about 3 guys at the receiver position that could be in that area. And talk a little bit about, because they're very different in what their attributes are. I'm interested, and I think the fans would be interested in you going through when you talk about a Kenny Britt from Rutgers, big size, physical receiver. You're talking about Akeem Nicks from North Carolina, good possession, great hands, just a really good receiver. And then you got Haywood Bay at Maryland with the great speed. So you got 3 guys that have vastly different attributes. How do you sort through those 3?
Well, it's tough, you know, and we've been spending a lot of time on those 3 guys, quite honestly. You know, we worked out, it's no secret, we went down to Maryland and worked out Darius Haywood Bay. We brought Joe Flacco with us, and he had a good workout.
You brought Flacco with you?
We brought Flacco with us, he had a good workout, and it was great. It was a colder day, which was good, because you wanted to see the guy compete. It was about 45, 50 degrees, kind of blustery wind. You know, he's a good player. He's got good size, he runs good routes. His hands, you know, so-so, not great. There are a lot of really good receivers in the league that don't have great hands. Terrell Owens drops as many passes as he probably catches. You know, Braylon Edwards dropped, I think, 18 or 19 passes this year. So Darius, at this point, is not a natural catcher. He's probably going to be a top 15 pick, would be my guess, based on his size and speed. He's almost 6'3", ran a 4.28 at the combine.
So you think he's off the board before?
Well, I think he probably is. I mean, I don't know. But he's a big, fast guy. Those guys don't typically, you know, go down into the 20s. I think Akeem Nicks, totally different type receiver. Good route runner, probably the best set of hands in the league. I mean, in college football, very strong guy after the catch, not a blazer. You know, runs probably a 4.52, 4.54 in that range. Caught a lot of passes this year. So you got one receiver that caught over 80 passes this year. You get another guy that caught 35 passes this year. The guy that caught 35 passes runs a 4.2. The guy that caught 80 passes runs a 4.5. Then you get a guy like Kenny Britt, who's 6'3", runs pretty fast, not slow, pretty good routes. Again, a little bit inconsistent catching the ball, but a real physical guy, physically dominant, can go up over guys and make plays, and he's a junior. So the other factor is junior receivers. You know, when looking at these junior receivers, there's actually a higher bust potential for junior receivers than senior receivers. So when you bring that into the equation, you got guys that maybe don't have the experience level, haven't caught a lot of passes, don't run real fast. They're going to be the top guys, but there's a little bit of risk involved with all those guys.
Brian, your years in the league as not only an offensive coordinator, but maybe Randy Moss made you a little smarter than maybe you were in Minnesota. But beyond that, what makes a good wide receiver? From an offensive coordinator's mind, what's the problem with him? Is he not getting to his spot? Is he not running the route? Is he not catching the ball when he gets there? Is it a size issue? Because it seems to me the days of 5'9", 5'10" receivers that blaze are over. I mean, it seems like everybody, at least for first-round picks, you got to be 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 200 pounds. You got to be that big guy in order to get noticed to be a first-round pick. And that might not be. I mean, Torrey Holt's not that guy. There are a lot of guys that are. Marvin Harrison wasn't that guy. There are a lot of guys that have been successful. Jerry Rice, they weren't built like Terrell Owens. They weren't these 6'3" giants.
I don't think there's another position on the field, America, in your perspective.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.